recording. So today, Fahad, inshallah, we should complete Unit 7. Do you remember what did you study last lesson?
Days of the week.
Exactly. We started the Unit 7 last week or last Saturday, and we started WH questions, right? And days of the week. If I ask you,
I'm back.
Sultan, yes. So if I ask you how many people or how many students are there in your classroom? How many
Class
students are there in your classroom?
20,
There,
25.
there are 25 students, right?
Yeah,
When they usually
right.
get up, Fahad, when they usually get up, what time they usually get up?
At 6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock, right? So today, ya shabab, inshallah, we should complete Unit 7 vocabulary focus, prepositions with expressions, with time expressions. What I mean by prepositions? Prepositions حروف الجر like in, at, on. Okay, we call them free time or time prepositions. So here, can we start, ya shabab, ordering these time phrases in order? So how many periods are there in each day? We have morning. This is morning number 1.
Teacher.
Yes.
الكلمة الأولى preposition.
Prepositions. Prepositions حروف.
preposition. حرف الجر.
Preposition. Exactly. Prepositions حروف الجر. Prepositions حروف الجر. Right? So
Right.
we need to order them, ya Sultan and Fahad, in order. Number 1. Here, morning. After morning, we have, so morning number 1. After morning, we have afternoon, midnight, midday, or evening.
Afternoon.
We have midday, like now, it's midday.
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 After
midday.
midday, we have
Uh,
what?
Afternoon.
Afternoon.
Afternoon. Afternoon. Then we have
Evening.
evening. And finally, midnight.
Midnight.
Okay, again, ya Sultan. Please read them in order. Read them in order, please.
Morning.
Morning.
Mid, midday.
Midday. Yes.
Afternoon.
Afternoon.
Evening.
Evening.
Midnight.
Midnight. So we have 5 different periods every day. We have morning, we have midday, we have afternoon, we have evening, midnight. So if I ask you, Ishba, are you a morning person or not? Are you morning person or not? What does it mean morning
Not.
person?
اللي يشتغل بالصباح كذا.
أيوة.
يقوم الصباح.
Exactly. Love. Yes, this person loves working early in the morning, right? And that's why he gets up early. So we can find, ya shabab, evening person. Evening person means he works at night, you know, like doctors and some people. And I am one of them. So I am evening person. So when do you get up on weekdays? Sultan, when do you get up at the weekend? What do you usually do on Sunday morning? What do you have breakfast? Do you have breakfast every day? Do you like doing exercise in the morning? Shabab, please, half a minute, read the questions and please give me true sentences about yourself.
Okay.
Weekdays, at the weekend, Sunday morning, breakfast, exercise in the morning. Yes, who can answer يا شباب? Who can start? Hmm. يلا يا فهد, can you start please?
Wait, wait.
Mhm.
Me.
Okay, Sultan, go ahead.
Uh, when do you get up on
Yes.
weekdays?
Yeah, no
At
need to read the question. No need to read the question. You could please answer. So I get up on
I get
weekdays.
up at
Mhm.
6 o'clock.
Do you know what I mean by weekdays, ya Sultan?
uh, يعني أيام الأسبوع.
أيوة. The days that you need to go to school, starting from Sunday to Thursday. We call them weekdays. So do you, yes, you get up at 6 o'clock on weekdays. What about the weekend? Saturdays
11
and
o'clock,
Fridays.
11 o'clock or 12 o'clock.
So I get up at
I get up
11
at
o'clock
11 o'clock or 12.
when at the weekend. طيب, what do you usually do on, let me say, Saturday morning? بلاش Sunday, لأن Sunday morning you go to school. What do you usually do on Saturday morning? Because Saturday your weekend.
Eat
Mhm.
my breakfast.
So you can say, I usually eat my breakfast with my family, or I usually exercise, for example, on Saturday morning, or I usually go to the park on Saturday morning, or I usually go on or go for a picnic on Saturday morning, right? So you can say different activities. What about for ya, Sultan? Do you have breakfast every day?
Yes, I have breakfast every day.
With my family, for example, or at school, or every day with my family before I go to school. The last question. Do you like doing exercise in the morning?
Uh, yes, I like doing exercise in the morning.
So now, the last question for you. Are you a morning person? Yes or no? Based on your answers.
Yes, yes.
I think yes, because most of your daily life activities, you do them in the morning. Fahd, what about you?
Yes.
When do you get up on weekdays?
You get up at 6 o'clock.
On weekdays.
Weekday. Yeah,
On
6 o'clock.
Yes, please give me a full sentence, yes, Sultan, يا فهد. So,
Yeah, I get up. قلت لك كذا.
yes, I get up at 6 o'clock on
6 o'clock.
weekdays because I go to school. I start to school early because I go to school at 6:30, for example, or 6:30. طيب, what about at the weekend, يا سلطان? يا فهد,
بعد.
sorry. Sorry, yes. When do you get
I
up at the
get up
weekend?
at the weekend
Mm-hmm.
10 o'clock.
At 10 o'clock. So you can say, I usually get up late at the weekend because I need to relax. I don't have to go to school. I need to relax. طيب, what about,
No, because صلاة الجمعة يستاهل.
okay, yes. What about Saturday morning?
Saturday,
Morning.
Sunday
Saturday.
يستاهل.
I know this Sunday is not weekend. This Sunday weekend in the UK, but in your country you have Saturday
Uh,
morning. So
11 11 o'clock. I usually wake up at 11.
no. What, Ya Sultan? I'm asking about your activities. What do you usually do on Saturday morning? Do you go to school on
I
Saturday morning?
No,
Do you go to the park?
no.
Do
I
you
do my homework.
exercise? Exactly. So I usually do my homework on Saturday morning. طيب, the next one. Do you have breakfast every day?
No.
Why no?
مرات آكل مرات لا. والله سعيد.
So I often you can say I sometimes eat breakfast before I go to school. You can say like
Yeah.
this. Right. What about do you like doing exercise in the morning?
What's mean exercise?
Exercise? Exercise. Go to the gym, you can run, you can walk, you can jump,
Hey.
push up, you can say like this. Huh? Do
Uh,
you,
hey.
yeah, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, what? Huh? Yes, I like doing exercises or exercise in the morning.
In the morning.
Right. طيب, now يا شباب, what should you do? Please look at the time expressions in the box. Write them next to the correct preposition. شباب, we have 4 prepositions: on, in, at, every. So on, uh, weekdays. Weekdays يا شباب. On, at, or in, or every.
Every.
uh,
Mhm.
أصبر.
Again,
every,
On weekday.
every.
so on weekdays. So this is one. Let me write one. One means on. On weekdays. On weekdays, I usually get up early. طيب, the weekend. The weekend.
In
No. At
At
the weekend. طيب, Saturday, Sunday morning. Sunday morning. Hmm.
on Sunday.
On exactly on days يا شباب, أي يوم من أيام الأسبوع على طول. On Sunday morning, on Friday evening, on Friday afternoon, and so on. طيب, the morning. The morning.
In.
In the morning, yes. In the morning. طيب, the afternoon. Again, in the afternoon. I
In
go
the
home
in
in the
the afternoon.
afternoon. Exactly. طيب, 3:45
at
at this time. At 3:45. طيب, day.
Every.
every day.
Every day. Exactly. Every day. طيب, weekend. Hmm.
Uh,
Again, you can say every weekend.
every weekend.
Exactly. You can say I go to the beach every weekend. I go out with my friends every Friday. Every weekend. كل نهاية أسبوع بسوي كده. Okay? Now listen and check يا شباب. Listen and check.
Unit 7, Recording 11. 1. On Friday.
Repeat,
On
please.
weekdays.
On
On
weekdays.
Sunday morning.
On Sunday morning.
2.
In the evening.
In the evening.
In the morning.
In the morning.
In the afternoon.
In the afternoon.
3. At 2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock.
At the weekend.
At the
At
weekend.
3:45.
At 3:45.
4.
Every week.
Every week.
Every day.
Every day.
Every weekend.
Every weekend. Clear يا شباب؟ يا رجالة.
Clear.
طيب, can you answer this please? يلا, choose the correct answer. Choose the correct answers. Are you an evening person? Are you an evening person? يلا, choose
On.
on, at, in. You have half a minute يا رجال. You have half a minute. Please let me know once you finish. Who is done?
Me.
Right. طيب Sultan, are you done?
No.
أنا واحد سلطان اثنين. طيب.
طيب يلا start please.
When do you go to bed on weekday?
On weekdays. Do you agree, يا Sultan?
Yes.
Is he right?
Yes.
Yes. On weekdays. يلا number 2.
When do you go to bed? At the weekend.
Exactly. At the weekend. طيب 3. Okay يا فهد.
What do you usually do on Saturday evening?
Exactly. On Saturday evening. طيب Sultan.
Do you cook dinner every day?
Okay, great. طيب the last one فهد.
Do you like doing expression?
Exercise. Yes.
Exercise. In the evening.
Exactly. In the evening. So far so good يا شباب. How to use on, at, every, and in. Okay, ready? طيب.
Ready.
What should we do? Now we start listening. Match the activities in the box with the photos. What time do people usually do these activities? Look at the pictures. Huh. The first one. What's he doing? I think he's going to work. He's going to
Yes.
work. He's on the bus going to work. طيب, what about the second picture? What are they doing?
Go coffee in the coffee.
Yes, having
Teacher.
coffee, right?
Maybe eat breakfast.
Teacher.
Maybe breakfast, but I think it's at night here in the evening.
Yes.
Teacher.
Yes, Sultan.
Picture number 1. He's reading a newspaper.
Exactly, reading a newspaper while going to work. Yes, here two actions, ya Sultan. Reading a newspaper, as you see, or going to work. يعني both are right. Excellent, thank you. طيب, what about picture 3? Huh?
Go, going
Walk,
for
going
a
for a
walk.
walk. Going for a walk. Yes, going for a walk. طيب, what about 4? What's he doing?
Running.
Running or exercising. أهو بيعمل التدريبات. The last one. Again, you can say having
Teacher.
coffee. Yes.
أحط أرقام.
No. Just match.
ولا
Just
بس
match. Just match.
كيف؟
Okay. Just match, ya Sultan. Just match. So what is picture? Yes, this picture, the first one.
إيه بدون ما أحط شيء صح؟ بدون ما أحدد.
Yes, exactly. Picture 1, this one. What are they doing? They're
Exercise.
doing Tai Chi.
لا
This
don't
doing
touch.
this is Chinese
Tai Chi
sport.
too.
Yeah.
Okay? So now what should we do, يا حبايب? Listen to me giving a mini talk about morning routines in China. Number the things in the order you hear them. Again, you will listen to someone or a girl is called me talking about the morning routines in China. الناس بتعمل ايه الصبح في الصين؟ يلا listen and number them. Number them يا شباب in the order you hear. Morning routine for young people, morning routine for working people and older people, what most people have for breakfast. Let's listen. Ready?
Ready.
Okay,
Ready.
Fahad. Yes, yeah.
Unit 7, Recording 12.
Most people get up early in China. We usually get up at 6:30 or 7 o'clock. Breakfast is important, and people usually have soup with rice. People eat other food too. It depends which part of China you live in. Most people drink tea at other times of the day, but not for breakfast. They don't drink anything for breakfast. Young people usually start school at 8 o'clock. They have breakfast at home first, and then they go to school. But the school day doesn't start with lessons. It starts with exercise for about 30 minutes. Some people don't have breakfast at home. Working people buy breakfast from shops and cafes on the way to work. Older people sometimes go to the park to do exercise together before breakfast.
Okay, now listen again.
Unit 7, Recording 12.
Shabab, this time you can answer question 3, true or false.
Most people get up early in China. We usually get up at 6:30 or 7 o'clock. Breakfast is important, and people usually have soup with rice. People eat other food too. It depends which part of China you live in. Most people drink tea at other times of the day, but not for breakfast. They don't drink anything for breakfast. Young people usually start school at 8 o'clock. They have breakfast at home first, and then they go to school. But the school day doesn't start with lessons. It starts with exercise for about 30 minutes. Some people don't have breakfast at home. Working people buy breakfast from shops and cafes on the way to work. Older people sometimes go to the park to do exercise together before breakfast.
Okay. طيب. Ready يا شباب?
Ready.
طيب, here. Number 1, true or false? Most Chinese people get up at 7.
False.
False. Right? Do you agree, ya Sultan?
Yes.
طيب. Number 2, most Chinese people drink tea for breakfast.
False.
False.
False. They don't drink anything for breakfast. طيب, young
Start-
people start school with exercise.
Number 3, Fahad.
Fahad.
True.
True,
شرح محلها
yes.
في الصح.
Exactly. True. This is true. The students يا شباب do exercise for 30 minutes, half an hour. طيب, working people sometimes buy breakfast from a cafe or shops.
True.
This is
True.
true. The last one. Older people do exercise in the park after breakfast.
False.
False. Why? Before breakfast.
Before.
No.
Before
Not
breakfast.
after. Exactly. What do you think, ya shabab, the morning routine in China? Do you like it? Do you like this routine?
Yes.
Especially school children routine. They start the school with exercising for 30 minutes, not with the lesson. And they start school at 8 o'clock, not early in the morning, like in our countries, we start school early at 7 o'clock. طيب. Here, be careful يا شباب, because after listening, you need to talk about your morning routine in your country. You listen to another one, Alexei giving a mini talk about food and the meals in her country, Russia. Okay, again. So Alexei talking about what? Food and the meals in Russia. Which the thing it does not talk about? Again, which she doesn't talk about? Breakfast ولا lunch ولا dinner ولا special meals? Ready? شباب, ready to listen?
Ready.
Yeah. Okay.
Unit 7,
Hmm.
recording 13.
Russian people usually have breakfast at about 7 o'clock in the morning. We usually have kasha, that's a kind of porridge, or bread, eggs, cheese, things like that. And people usually drink tea or coffee for breakfast. Lunch in Russia is important. It's the main meal of the day. On working days, Russian people usually have a lunch break for 1 hour, from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. A typical lunch in Russia is soup, then meat with potatoes, then a hot fruit drink. Dinner is also an important meal in Russia. We usually have dinner at about 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. The family talks during dinner, and sometimes they watch the news on TV. Again, we have soup and meat or fish with potatoes. After dinner, many Russian people like drinking tea with sugar.
Again.
Unit 7, recording 13.
Russian people usually have breakfast at about 7 o'clock in the morning. We usually have kasha, that's a kind of porridge, or bread, eggs, cheese, things like that. And people usually drink tea or coffee for breakfast. Lunch in Russia is important. It's the main meal of the day. On working days, Russian people usually have a lunch break for 1 hour, from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. A typical lunch in Russia is soup, then meat with potatoes, then a hot fruit drink. Dinner is also an important meal in Russia. We usually have dinner at about 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. The family talks during dinner, and sometimes they watch the news on TV. Again, we have soup and meat or fish with potatoes. After dinner, many Russian people like drinking tea with sugar.
Right? So which one he doesn't mention يا شباب?
Special
Special
meals.
meals.
Special meals, exactly. He described the breakfast in Russia, lunch in Russia, dinner in Russia. Okay, now يا شباب, what should we do? Listen again, and this time take the phrases we hear in the useful language box. Listen again and take the phrase you hear in this useful language box. This is really important because you need to use the same phrases in your talk now. Listen carefully. Listen again for the last time.
Unit 7, recording 13.
Russian people usually have breakfast at about 7 o'clock in the morning. We usually have kasha, that's a kind of porridge, or bread, eggs, cheese, things like that. And people usually drink tea or coffee for breakfast. Lunch in Russia is important. It's the main meal of the day. On working days, Russian people usually have a lunch break for 1 hour, from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. A typical lunch in Russia is soup, then meat with potatoes, then a hot fruit drink. Dinner is also an important meal in Russia. We usually have dinner at about 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. The family talks during dinner, and sometimes they watch the news on TV. Again, we have soup and meat or fish with potatoes. After dinner, many Russian people like drinking tea with sugar.
Okay? Okay, Shabab? Is it clear now that what do usually people eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner in Russia?
Yes.
Okay, so you should start talking about your routine. But before you speak, I'd like you to write about daily routine in your country. What do usually people do in the morning? What do usually people do in the evening? And talk about food and the meals. And in our next class, you should be ready for discussion. Again, so your homework is what, ya shabab? Use the same ideas from listening and from the useful language box to write about morning routine in your country and different types of food the people usually eat in your country for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. Then in our next lesson, inshallah, I'll give you 2 minutes for each one to describe or give me a minute talk about food and the meals in your country. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Shabab. So, inshallah, next lesson should be the last lesson in Unit 7. But please start writing and to be ready for speaking next